Judy and I were picking up some groceries from the local M&S, and I decided to pick up this bottle as well, figuring as long as I'm here, I'll grab some blended scotch so I can do a review for you. And as I'm going through the self-checkout, trying to get all the groceries scanned, I was going to scan this, and I heard this voice from behind me say, "Is that alcohol you have there?" I said, yes, it is. She goes, "It's a wee bit early for that, isn't it?" And I said, well, I didn't know what to say. Actually, I knew I wasn't going to drink it right now, so I didn't think it was that early to buy it. But apparently it was before 10 a.m., and I had missed that moment of buying the whiskey by 12 minutes. Didn't feel like hanging around for it, but I did come back the next afternoon and buy it. So now that I have it, let's do this. Welcome to Whisky Riffs. If you're new here, I'm Kevin. Thank you for stopping by and checking out this review. I'm in Brodie Ferry, Scotland, which is close to Dundee, and one of the more common shops in the UK is M&S, Marks and Spencer, and they have a food hall that's nearby, which was selling some bottles of whiskey. None of them were particularly great or well priced, except their own bottling, which is this blended Scotch malt, and it is a smoky variety. It's got 6 different isles that it is blended from: the Skye, Mull, Islay, Orkney, Jura, and Arran, all of which I like their whiskeys from. So I figured, why not give it a try? It's a beautiful light color, which means it's probably not artificially colored. I don't think they went through the effort of doing that with this whiskey. Unfortunately, it is at 40% ABV, and it's a 70 cl bottle, but I did get it for only 25 pounds, and that's not a bad deal for a full bottle of whiskey that might be a decent blend of different smoky varieties. Let me get this open, pour it in a glass, and then we'll talk more about it. This 6-hour reserve blended malt Scotch whiskey is 40% ABV, as I said. No age statement on it, no reference to what exact distilleries are in here. Probably one of the major distilleries from each of those isles, and there is no statement about whether it's natural color or whether it has any non-chill filtration. I think it's natural color just because of how light it is. It's almost so light, I can't believe there's any caramel coloring in here. It also may be very light because it's not very aged, so this may be a very young whiskey. It's supposed to be smoky. I'll let you know if it's worthwhile in just a minute. Let me go ahead and start with the nose on this thing. I'm getting some really burnt rubber smells, some campfire smoke, and it's actually not a bad nose. There's a little bit of sweetness there. Out of all the different distillery regions that are listed on this bottle, it really hits me as an Orkney smell. A little bit of the tire store and a little bit of that like a sour note at the end. Overall, I'm not unhappy with the nose. Let's see what the taste is like. Interesting. It is smoky, but not overly intense, but not mild either. It's definitely got enough Islay whiskey in there, enough peated whiskey that it's giving me that smoky campfire, a little bit of iodine maybe also on the taste. It is very much a vegetal note. The peat and the smoke take over everything. Tastes very thin, so there's not a lot of depth here. There's a little bit of a finish, but it's mostly the sour notes from probably the young wood in this. Honestly, if I were to kind of sum this up really quickly, it's like the worst parts of all the aisles. I saw reviews on both ends of the spectrum. Like, people were giving it 1 star, or people were giving it 5 stars. There was nobody in the middle, and I can understand why. Because either you were looking for some real smoke and peat and some nice little wood spice notes that are on the sour edge of the flavor spectrum, or you were looking for something that had a little more body to it, less smoke and more sweetness. There's almost no sweetness in here. I'm not even getting any much of the caramel notes or anything like that. No sugars that I can taste. Fruits, almost none. If there's any fruit, it's a little bit of citrus note, but even that's mild. very little vanilla, and a really, oh, wow. The sour notes, as I'm tasting it more, are just kind of hanging there on my tongue. So I can understand why some people were giving this a 1-star review. I don't know if this is just too young or if it is just a bad blending, but overall, it's really not a flavor profile that I would say most people would just die for or even crave a little bit. To me, it's sour, it's flat, it's thin, there's no sweetness to it at all. It's one note, and that's smoke and peat, and really the worst of all 6 aisles as far as I'm concerned. But let me know what you think. Have you had any of the M&S blended whiskeys? Have you had the 6 aisle reserve? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments. I knew this wasn't going to be a big winner when I grabbed it, but I did want to taste one of the big store blends around here, and M&S is one of the biggest stores. So I'm glad I did this. I don't know if I do it again. I don't know what's going to happen to this bottle. It's certainly not going to get drunk while I'm here in Scotland, but I do appreciate that I do get a chance to be in Scotland. And I got a couple videos planned with a friend of mine who's nearby, so stay tuned for those. And until next time, take care of yourself. Take care of those people around you. And cheers. Yeah, not winning awards for me, but smoky and peaty.